Welcome to the Trashcat's Trashcast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven.
And today we're celebrating the new year, 2024, year of the Trash Cat.
Inshallah, dear Trash Cats. We're doing big things. Big changes ahead.
The fucking happy Honda days are over. Toyotathon was canceled.
Oh boy. Do you know what inshallah means?
It's if God wills.
You're right, dude. It's such a beautiful sounding word.
It is.
And I plan on adopting it because Muslims are getting very big online.
It's the new hot trend to be Muslim. Is that what you're saying?
It truly is. It's funny. The farther we get, the more the right Christians are becoming closer to Muslims. Very interesting world.
One of the phrases that I've been trying to work into my vocabulary more often, but I just forget about it all the time, is "Come Hell or High Priest."
I have not heard that.
It's I want to say it's a song. I think it's by Suffocation. But I thought that was a...
Is it a real... I mean, there's hell or high water. What the fuck's a high priest?
So, like, a high priest would be like just a priest. I think high priest is usually used in, like, fantasy shit, but, like...
Like, smoke too much weed.
Like, come... In the same fashion of come hell or high water. Like, I'm still going to get this done. And that one, it's like... regardless of the deities who come before me, I'm still going to get this done.
Okay. I'll let it slide.
Fuck you. I'll let it slide. I'll allow it.
Now, right off the bat, I'd like to say, fuck your Christmas. Yeah. I hope everyone had a garbage holiday. What bullshit Christian pagan nonsense. I hope everyone got their family sick and got no good presents. Fuck your family. Fuck Christmas. We're on to New Year's.
It's that old shit's over. Jeezy Crazy had his B-Day.
Now, New Year's is kind of base though, right?
And why do you say that?
It's a new start. It's cheesy, but it's another chapter done. Can tear up those pages of the book and on to the next.
I see it as it's just another day that everyone always has off except for me.
It's more romantic than celebrating some stupid child savior, Like Christmas sucks.
I can agree with that as a concept. It's a fun idea, but also it's just a fucking Tuesday. Is it Tuesday this year?
I couldn't tell you.
No, I want to know.
Yeah, I mean...
It's Monday.
Yeah, it's like nothing changes, but it feels...
It's arbitrary, really. I mean, we could do New Year's in the middle of fucking April if we wanted to.
Yeah, but I get a little bit of like a second wind, it's like a refreshing a dead browser tab, It's like it's the same shit, but it feels newer,
I've had this tab open for the last 8 months. I'm not sure if this link still works anymore. I'm afraid to hit refresh.
Right. But it feels good when the page loads again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it. How's the week?
The glossy JPEGs are still crispy. Make sure.
Absolutely. Those feet pics are still there.
They're still Oh boy, I want that as my my national anthem instead of the flag was still there. The feet pics were still there.
Dude, I haven't been anywhere as an adult where they've done the national anthem. Like ever since being an adult, no sports like
yeah, I was gonna say
maybe once.
I was gonna say I haven't in a long time either, but that's actually not true. I went to a baseball game earlier this year because my niece threw out the first pitch.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
What did you do though in public when you're asked to, bow before the nation? How do you handle it?
I don't.
Do other people not do it too? Like, I feel like I would.
I happened to be standing already because I was in line to get a fucking pretzel, but I Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have even stood up.
I pledge allegiance to the pretzel.
Yeah. Can I please have some cheese sauce with this? Thank you.
All right. How was your week?
It was good. It's been a week. It's been a couple weeks really. I've been starting to work out again. And it's becoming a habit now, so that's good.
How's it feel?
It feels nice. I was definitely a little sore the first day.
Getting the pumps, getting the gains.
The worst part, I really do. I think the worst feeling when you start working back out again is when you start doing like ab workout shit, and like it feels when you haven't done anything in a long time, it feels like you're fucking like sick to your stomach because it just hurts all over.
You know, want to know the ab secret?
What's that?
People train abs by doing like sit-ups and all that goofy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Abs are just, you have to train them like a regular muscle.
And how do you mean?
Progressive overload, right? Like if you do 100 sit-ups, you're not really getting that much out of that because you're not targeting those muscles efficiently. Where like it would be the equivalent.
You don't know how well I do sit-ups.
It'd be the equivalent of doing like 100 curls with like 5 or 10 pounds. Like you could.
I hear what you're saying.
You could get a good workout out of it, but you're not really. If you do 100 sit-ups multiple times a week, you're not actually growing the ab muscles efficiently. You still can, but
I've got good ab workouts. Between I don't have as cool of a setup as I used to when I lived in Florida, where I could go out and there was a bike trail I could take that had I forget what they call them, but it's basically like different jungle gym set kind of stuff along the path. And one of them was like parallel bars that you're supposed to like, lift yourself up and like walk across with your hands kind of thing. Yeah. And like, that's fine and dandy, but I realize that's a really good way to like lift yourself up off the ground and do like lower ab shit by like doing like leg lifts and shit.
Yeah, calisthenics for core is based.
That's one of my that one in the fuck do they call them? Pfeiffer scissors. It's like you have like you lay on your back with your legs up and like one up, one down, but just like off the ground a little bit, and you hold it for a few seconds and then switch, and that shit burns real fucking quick.
We need big weights, big boulders, big stones.
I don't think you really do when your legs are fucking fat and heavy like mine. You put a pair of shoes on and them shits are pretty tough.
So. Are you focusing on physical like fuck New Year's resolutions, but like just you've gotten a good habit, right? You're making changes. Is it physical focus primarily?
Yeah, that's my kind of bigger one right now. Is like I'm finally reached the point where I'm done being overweight. I lost 15 pounds in 2023. The goal was a lot higher than that, but
that's solid though.
Yeah, I lost it and I kept it off, and that's good.
Yeah.
So I'm slowly thinking, and then that was like I really didn't put in as much effort as I could have. That was mostly just like paying more attention to my nutrition and like eating properly and making better habits out of that. Now I'm more focused on like physical and mental health too. I've been taking supplements and vitamins and shit. I've been taking more like vitamin D3. Apparently, I've been told by a lot of people like that's super good for.
Let me stop you right there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you buy into any of these supplements?
Some of them, yes. I've got, and even if it is psychosomatic, I feel like I've gotten good returns on some things I've taken in the past, especially, like I said, the SAMI one that I've been doing that like, the fuck is it? It's like a joint health thing, but it definitely helps with like mood. Like there's studies that show like there's, people are getting this. It's not the main thing, the reason they sell it, but a lot of people use it for this, and it absolutely does work for me.
The supplement industry though is so unregulated. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
I just anything that can help, in my opinion, that is a non-narcotic supplement is A, so unregulated you can't really trust it, and B, the effects at best are so minor I don't see it's worth any other potential downsides. Aside from, like, occasionally, like, something that has an instant effect, even if it's minor, those I can see as, like, a nice tool in the toolbox, but as any form of regular supplement that isn't, like, even a multivitamin's unnecessary, but fine, cover your bases. But anything outside of that is, like, it's kind of whack, right?
I can see that. I feel like it's, I look at least like when I shop for different supplements, when I'm like looking them up online, like because it really is, there's like, you can have the same, what's advertised as the same thing, but it's so very different. Like magnesium was one that I found was very complicated when you're searching for it, because there's like three different, in particular, like 3 or 4 different kinds of magnesium supplements you can get, and they all do different shit.
But they don't.
Well, they're all advertised. I will say they're all advertised to do different shit, is what I mean by that.
Yeah, and the different types are just like the different mixes they're with on like how it might affect bioavailability, like fillers, or like even like if you get 2 different morphine pills or Xanax or whatever, there's like it's like 0 to 10% ratio. They can be different on potency by the FDA. Like you can get a prescription 1 week and get a generic, and it could be 10% different strength.
Yeah, I definitely,
that's what the FDA and supplements are not.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that being even worse with supplements. I found that searching for them or like looking into them the same way that you look into. I mean, for almost anything, I shop this way of like, look at the good reviews versus bad reviews first.
Can't trust reviews anymore.
Well, so the important thing is you want to look at bad reviews in a way that, like, why did they give it 1 star? Is it a good bad review, or is it a shitty, like, there's no effort done into this? And true, you can't account for everyone's reaction to it, but if you're looking to try it anyways, then that's what you take into account. You look for, some of them with a lot of reviews, and then you find like a few different options that people seem to trust, at least. And then you cut back to like, okay, now what can I afford? Because then you start looking at them, and one of them's, $100 for a year's supply, and then the other one's $15, and you're like, well, how come that one's so fucking cheap? But also, I'm not spending $100 on some crazy shit. I
have to push back though. 'Cause I'm with you. Like, that is the method on like how you research shit online, right? Mm-hmm. That's how it's been throughout our lives. But I was a big like anti-jerker to this, where I didn't believe it for a while. But over the last 3 to 5 years, you have to assume now 80 to 95% of all reviews are fake now. Like, there are not real reviews in a percentage that you can trust anything anymore.
I can definitely see that on like Amazon and shit like that, because I know that's a full-time job for people.
Well, yeah, it's just
writing reviews on shit.
Now it's AI. Like, even the ones that are human that have pictures, like, that shit's recycled AI at this point. And Amazon's completely gone away from using like trustworthy brands. They even in years past bragged about how we're getting to the point where the name brand won't matter. Anyone can make shit. We're going to smaller places. It's all nonsense. So like, as shitty as it is,
it is hard to find like certain bigger brands of shit on Amazon. It is crazy.
It's a problem. I was just watching a guy that was doing reviews of electrician like wire crimping tools. Mm-hmm. just to prove a point of like all of the comments, all of the reviews are fake, all of the products are garbage, don't do what they're told. But if you weren't a professional, you wouldn't know that it's not doing what you need it to or whatever. And it's just, so like doing the like Googling like Reddit review, like Google search product name / Reddit, like unfortunately is like some of the best research you can do now, which is so sad. Like the internet has changed where it used to be.
You got to know the meta of the internet.
Yeah, dude. It's like someone like my mom, if she was trying to review a supplement, I would feel bad because there is no way she is going to get any accurate information. Like outside of like, what does the CDC say? What does like medical institutions say? There is no other information that is trustworthy at all. Like everything's so fucked up. Even like the latest research on what the fuck is it? Not THC, the non-THC
CBD.
Yeah, so much of that shit is completely diluted or contaminated. It's all like
I know for a
just
fact
garbage.
that there's a lot of fuck ups in that. We used to sell some at one of the restaurants we worked at, and we just had it like as a supplement thing that you could buy or you could put into a smoothie if you want to. There was, like all kinds of different shit we did with it, but the stuff we were getting was like from this. It was from this couple that had like this branding thing, and like it was, a small batch local thing or whatever, but also it was trash. Like I had tried it in multiple, what's it called? Like milligrams worth, and like got absolutely nothing until I had one. I got one from a dispensary, and they had like full paperwork and a bunch of like lab testing results that came with it, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I went home and tried it, and it was like night and day the difference that I actually felt something.
Compared to the other stuff.
Compared to the other shit was like absolutely there's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, the whole weed industry is doing more lab report stuff, which is a good step, but it's just like it sucks. Like supplements are so predatory. Now I'm gonna twist the bolt a bit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Improvements, physical, it's good. Mental, you feel decent.
I've been good. I've been in a little bit of a rut of let's say depression symptoms lately. I don't know if I'd say it was it's mostly just been apathy. Just been a rut of apathy lately. But I'm able to work myself out of it a lot easier than I had, have felt in the past. Like physically, like just getting up and doing shit is making it better. Whereas in the past, I feel like that absolutely did not help. It just made me more exhausted.
Have you ever done therapy?
No.
You should do therapy.
Yeah, I know.
I think you'd like it.
I think I would too.
I'm considering, like, I was with my person for 8 years, and then she cut me loose on a good note. But she cut me loose, and now I'm not opposed to going, but it's so hard with work, and it starting over with to having to now pay because my shit was through the courts originally, and then I was free. To have to like pay to try to find someone it's such a nightmare to begin with, and then to try to like start over with a person. Like I would like to do some potential like heavy long-term work with someone, but it just feels hard to like make time and financial sacrifices to just try finding someone. Like it's tricky.
I'm interested in, it feels like it's less than, but I can't really describe how I'm considering if I were to start getting into therapy, doing like a video call thing or like but it just, that feels,
it's bad.
Yeah, it feels like I'm missing a part of an element of part of it. And I can't even really understand. I can't really explain why, other than like it feels less personal.
Yeah.
But also in a way, because I feel like there's also an argument you can make that it's easier to let your guard down and be vulnerable when you're not like in the room with the person.
For some people, it for sure can be a benefit, but I think for most people, part of therapy is being vulnerable and to have that extra bit of distance, both physical and symbolic, to have that extra barrier between you and the person, I think can make it easy to prevent oneself from being as vulnerable as being willing to be beside another person can be beneficial. Like
I can definitely see it being a reason why I don't make a habit out of it or like continue doing it. If it's too easy to, log in and fucking whatever, like, I don't know. It feels like that's something that I won't. Whereas there's, I don't know if it's the right word to use here, but there's almost ceremony in, getting up, going out to your car, driving to a place.
Man, anytime I'd leave my appointment, there was this really cool courtyard at the place I went to, and I'd sit out there smoking after and just walking around this path of like these stupid trees and just kind of, processing how the appointment went. I feel like
was the drive home kind of thing, like have a drive home in the quiet for a little bit and process some shit. Like, that could be really nice.
Well, I'm going to hop off and get back on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
That was some dope therapy. That was some dank therapy. See ya. Yeah.
I'm going to look at some memes real quick.
Yeah, that's a whole different experience. All right, here's Direction 2024. We've said it before. I'll do the super abridged version. We're changing shit up. We're getting on YouTube. Our schedule is going to change, which is both good and bad, but we're going to do new episode every other week. But on YouTube, we're putting up all of the old episodes and starting from the beginning, and those will go up much more often until we get caught up, and then we'll be able to reevaluate. So good changes, 2024, year of the Trashcat. Here's the question for us, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Silly v serious.
Yeah.
What is the direction? Let's fight.
I mean, I definitely, I come from a very silly perspective point of view.
You're seriously very silly.
I'm seriously silly. Why? I mean, because that's most of the podcasts I listen to. Anyways, like I don't do all the debates and shit like you.
Why?
Because that's just not what I want to listen to.
But why not more serious content? Like I'm want to joke fight you. Like we're having a real discussion, but
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's not typically, I feel like it can be made into something that I want to listen to depending on who's talking about it. There are definitely, people that I listen to that talk about serious shit, but like they're joking the whole time. And that's why I like what we do, because we goof on shit, but we do talk about serious things. But I feel like if that's generally the direction I come from, is like, I don't know. It's like that's if I'm listening to something, if I'm putting something on to distract myself from anything else that I'm doing, or at least to have something on that I want to listen to, generally it's because I either want to set a mood or continue a mood. And I mean, unless it's like even like news shit, like I can't do that often.
All right. Can I offer the pushback?
Oh, please do.
Here's what I don't understand. Mm-hmm. And it's not just with you, but there's so many people that I think feel similarly, where it's like the world is too serious. Like, if I'm going to choose to engage in things, I want it to be entertaining. There can be some serious, but I'm only willing to really swallow that pill if I get a laugh while I choke it down.
Yeah, there's that, and it's also like I feel like there's a lot of, if I want serious, I can search it out and find it. But if I'm choosing to put something on, 9 times out of 10, it is.
But do people in your position, do they really feel like there isn't? I like clown shit too, but I feel like people's ratio is off. Like, do you feel like there's not an infinite amount of serious stuff that would keep you like highly entertained or engaged?
No, I don't think there is. I feel like there's a certain point where it's like I don't want to anymore.
I feel like it's so avoidism. Like, and I'm really not being specific to you. Like, just this idea of,
you absolutely might be right on that, because there is a certain amount of it is like I don't feel like it right now. I don't feel like
that's
being upset and being shitty and feeling shitty about something.
Because here's like, this is a really goofy mirror, but this is how like big brain debatey my brain's been. If there's two people arguing between capitalism and socialism, the people that are like, no, it has to be socialism has no room for capitalism, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you lean towards capitalism, if all the people that wanted to be socialist just fucking started socialist shit, we could have that, right? Like, capitalism doesn't rule things out. I feel like if you lean towards serious shit, but you're still willing to goof, you're good. But when you lean towards goof to avoid the serious, you're instantly cutting out like such a wide part of the spectrum of like what can be entertaining or enriching, because it becomes too serious. Like, nothing's ever going to be too funny where I'm like, oh, I can't watch that. That's too funny. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if the focus is on, I need it to be funny, then you lose so much.
I feel like
there's like so many.
I feel like that's a lack of perspective into the different options of things that it's like, because it doesn't even have to be funny so much as it is entertaining and distracting. It's a different thing, like different D&D shit or whatever. Like, even if it's not meant to be like, it's a funny thing, it's a story-based thing. It's like books.
For the life of God,
it's like people that listen to books.
I cannot understand listening to a D&D podcast. I can't get it, dude. Like, I love you. I love Sarah. I love people that love nerd things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot understand that, though. Like, I would feel like I'm dying inside.
How do you feel about audiobooks?
It depends on the book. I like listen. I need to hear audio all day long.
Yeah.
Every minute I'm awake, there is something playing. I need to hear things, and a good story I'm all for. But if I just listened to, even if they were the best fantasy books all day long, I would legitimately want to kill myself.
Now, I would kind of agree with that, but it's like, I like the D&D stuff. I like the improv of it. I like and you know, for a show, I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, like cut in, like, you know, there's a lot of editing that goes on. Of course, they're trying to make a product.
But you're just listening to other people like
make a story,
have fun and goof around. But
yeah,
I'm not gaining anything from that.
Well, right? I am.
I get that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I that sucks for you.
I feel like it's a waste.
I absolutely don't see it that way. I feel like it's that's enriching to my time. That's how I want to spend. I mean, this is another this is how arguments usually end up when it's just a matter of taste. between us. It's just like that's just a difference of taste, of preference. I think
feel like
the main
more than
difference
that.
in our positions is you wish to change other people's preferences, while I don't care what I don't care what your preferences be, because
Sure.
they're your preferences, and that's fine.
I I get where you're coming. I mean, there's things I like to engage with that state of mind. Like I have my funnies to, or my like escapist content, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like if the majority of my time isn't something that's expanding my horizon or like thoughts, I would feel like I'm languishing. And it in a way, I feel like the like pure escapist route is, and it might be a necessary distraction. I'm not saying like it doesn't have both like creative or like practical benefits to like get people through the day and that shit kind of shit. Like, and there's tons of like just hearing storytelling is generally good. Like if the day was silent versus like listening to a cool story every single time. But I feel like there's something being lost as well when that's the focus.
Let me ask you this. Are you fulfilling a sense of entertainment when you listen to debates and things about like serious controversial topics?
So there's definitely a spectrum. Like there's some things I don't want to listen to, and I feel like I like should, or there's like another benefit, and then there's other things where it's like I'm probably not getting as much out of this, but it's very entertaining. There's definitely a spectrum. But I feel like if I feel like to some level, not entirely, I feel a certain responsibility to, I'm not the smartest, right? But I feel like a certain level of like responsibility to myself to try to know more shit, or to try to be somewhat current or informed, or to know why this popular thing right now in the world is wrong. Like to ignore that and supplement it with ha-has. Sound like an old man, but to like supplement it with things that I gain not like less from would bother me.
Here's my thoughts on that. Like I'm 100% all for hearing new ideas and opinions. I feel like there is a thing as a bad opinion or a wrong opinion.
Absolutely.
And I'm even down for hearing if someone has a bad opinion, hearing why they defend it.
Yes.
But there's a certain point where I'm able to hear someone out enough that, okay, I recognize this person is a dumb fuck, or they're disillusioned by something else, and I don't need to listen to this. I don't care. I'm not gaining anything from that once I realize what the core, I don't know why there's a disagreement. Sure. Once I understand why there's a thing that's contrary to mine, like it's not, I'm down to hear a contrary opinion 100, every time, 100% of the time. If the reason is not a new reason to me to believe in that, then I'm not gaining anything because I've heard that opinion before. And I feel like most of the shit that I hear that gets into like more serious discussion, it's a lot of the same shit. Or if it's offered a new they offer a new reason for having a counter opinion, like I said, I'm down to hear it, and sometimes I can learn from it. But if I'm not learning anything from it, like off the bat, I'm not going to sit here and devote an hour to listening to someone that I think is just wrong.
Let me make it closer to home then, right? I understand what you mean when it's controversial opinions, and I definitely, due to the entertainment I get out of it, I probably over focus on it a bit. But
hold that thought a second. I want to point out, because I want to finish this. I also don't want to devote an hour to listening to someone that I also 100% agree with, because that's also I'm not gaining anything from that.
Sure.
I want to cut that off. Go ahead.
Yeah. But all right, let's say the choice is between 10 hours of content this week of funny storytelling, enjoyable, or we'll go 50-50. 5 hours of that and 5 hours of another topic you're genuinely interested, like the latest on NASA's space research, the latest on something that isn't just a debate or controversial, but like newer
woodworking
information.
Tutorial videos.
Sure.
Yeah.
To me, if the focus is on, I feel like I'm losing something depending on what that ratio is. But I feel like a lot of people don't feel that way, because the escape is like what makes the day or whatever offers enough comedic cushion or whatever to get through their day. And I don't think that's bad. I like, you got to do what you got to do or whatever, but I feel like I'm losing something.
Yeah. So here's another thing. So in the way you framed that made me realize I'm looking at serious from the perspective of like serious rather than so one of the things that, like, most of what my like YouTube algorithm, which is, the main thing I use for media anymore, the main, probably more than 50% of my algorithm is like DIY. How I did this and I will show you how I did it, or I researched all this so that I can compile it all into, a informational, what's the word I'm looking for?
Just expose of sorts.
Yeah, just a bunch of shit all at once, in a shorter, summarized version. That's mostly what I end up watching, is like a lot of like artistic, like woodworking shit. That's one of the bigger ones.
Well, I think that's a very much different / better use than like pure escapism. Like, to me, that
yeah,
lands in
I don't
serious.
consider that escapism. That's something I am interested in. I want to learn.
Yeah,
like, I'm not just listening to like fucking Goofum podcasts all the time.
But a lot of people do. Like, a lot of people don't want any serious shit, and that's what I'm saying. It's not that it all has to be serious, but when I think when the focus is on goofs, there's a lot lost. Like, I don't like silly people. I don't like flamboyant people. I don't like silly people, and I don't like religious people. That pretty much covers my basis of hatred.
Are you saying you don't like the instructional channel How to Basic?
No, I really don't.
You really don't like this?
No, I really don't.
I'm surprised Homeboy's still making them.
I can't even remember.
I just realized the other I found him the other day. He posted something that came up on my feed, and I was like, all right, cool. Homeboy's still making content.
I'm a very serious person, and I demand to be taken seriously.
Fucking, you have a tattoo that says clown hard.
And right above it, I'm going to tattoo like the English paper arrow, but I'm a very serious person. It's going to be a raccoon in a business suit.
No jokes allowed.
No jokes allowed. No smoking weed and no joke, okay? This is serious shit, okay? No, I get frustrated if someone tells me all they watch is comedy podcasts or like sports. I'm like, you're obviously a person that has wasted their life and my air for existing. You stupid fuck. Like, do you care about
Think
nothing?
of all
you
the trees that made oxygen so that you could listen
Oh
to
my
fucking
God. Yeah.
sports podcasts.
Jesus Christ.
Not even watching the sports, listening to other people talk about the sports.
That infuriates me. And I just feel like people's ratio is off. I don't feel like it's a fundamental problem to enjoy either, but there should be some sort of balance.
I think you got to get out of Cincinnati.
Where do I want to go? If I'm not working, I'd be interested in going places. If I'm working a full-time job, where the fuck do I want to go? I don't even want to go to UDF. What is there out there? There's nothing.
There's nothing. There's definitely nothing in Cincinnati. That's for damn sure.
There's nothing anywhere. It's all the same. People say travel.
There's a very different vibe in up here than there is in Cincinnati. It's a very different vibe. Even just going to the grocery store, there's
it wouldn't change shit though.
There's a feeling of cognitive difference in the people that are there.
Do you think people are better?
I feel like
you're snubbing your nose on your home city right now.
Yeah, I am. There's definitely a difference.
How much
of
better?
Like. I feel like the main difference that I notice when I go back to Cincinnati is like you see a lot more people that go to like
AA meetings,
public, like go out and like shopping in public, and they're like wearing their PJs. Or like just don't give a fuck at all, which is like that on its own. There are commendable and wonderful, beautiful parts about that, but also it was the difference was a lot clearer when we went to Florida, and we would go to Florida and we'd come back even just to Cincinnati, but in Detroit it's a much stronger vibe of like. In Florida, the thing was like grooming. Like there's just like the amount of people that would like look like they haven't like shaved or like showered or fucking put on a new shirt in the last like week and a half.
Bro, this is just
and it was everybody.
Levels of addiction, right? This is like my guess. If you had to boil that down, it's like different levels of like drug abuse and alcohol shit, right?
I mean, maybe, but it was like everybody.
No, I know. That's
yeah, it's Florida.
All right, I'm gonna offer some pushback here.
Mm-hmm.
You say people in Detroit are better than Cincinnati.
That's not what I said.
You said elitism. Okay, I need you to prove. We're gonna go point by point debate style. Okay.
Okay.
Point A. How are Detroit people better? Are they smarter?
Here's the way I feel like it makes the most sense.
Okay.
I feel like the last time I was in Cincinnati, I went to a UDF.
Sure.
And I feel like I could hear people breathing out of their mouth.
Okay.
And in stereo.
Sure. So they're stupider?
I'm not sure if I could draw that entire conclusion. There's definitely there's a vibe of just like everything's a little bit slower.
But let me
everything like whether it's information moves a little slower, the progression of time moves a little bit slower.
Let me make a gesture of good faith.
Yeah.
I will offer an olive branch between our two cities, okay?
Okay.
Here,
Yep.
I'm holding the olive branch. You grab the other side.
Okay. It's called Toledo.
Okay, we're holding it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've made peace. Now.
Yeah.
No, we've made peace. I'm going to press you. I agree. Where you're... Hear me out. Where you're at in Detroit.
I agree.
And this part of Cincinnati, I would... not all of Detroit, but this part of Cincinnati is probably like stupider and more ghetto. It's like rougher around the edges, right?
I don't know. Pontiac is basically Price Hill.
Okay, I offered an olive branch and you stepped all over it. What is your point then? How would the people of your city be any better? Because I hate people everywhere. How could it be better?
What I meant by that is you're going to have that, there are different areas to any given city,
There's
right? And
flavors of stupid.
Yeah, there's flavors of stupid wherever you go.
So how could it be any better anywhere else if people are all genuine or generally the same?
So I don't know. It's just a vibe, man. You got to feel it.
I don't feel vibes. I'm logic and facts. Okay, I don't.
You got to go to the Kroger up here versus the one in.
Dude, ours got black lights, bro. They'd be raving out there, smoking weed, just dancing at 1 a.m. raving, dude.
That's the wildest shit.
It is wild.
That fucking threw me off so much.
It was pretty cool the day that changed. Now, I'm fucking around, but I don't think any place in the world is going to make me happy. This ties in with the silly serious. I don't give much of a fuck about being happy, and I don't give a fuck about my surroundings much. Like, as a person that makes art, I've never painted my own walls. I've never I don't give a fuck about much, and I definitely don't care about our world. as a real place, as an idea, I do.
I want to make an addendum to what you just said a minute ago.
Okay.
There's not a place on earth that's going to make you happy than your own domicile.
Yes.
Now, I would offer this. I really do feel like you could benefit, if you had the opportunity to, from being in a place where you could paint your walls, or at least modify your surroundings. The way I see it is, you're turning your what do they call it? Your mind palace. You're extending your mind palace to the walls around you.
Here's the thing. My ideal house literally would be an actual bunker. A big concrete basement with barbed wire fence around it and some dogs that I don't like but will defend me. That is my...
Boy, if I got a YouTube channel for you.
A couple assault guns and some heavy locks. Okay, I don't...
Like homeboy from the Cloverfield Lane?
Yeah.
Just like John Goodman from Cloverfield Lane.
Far too extravagant. I want just concrete. I want to be able to hose down my house. You know what I mean? I want to be able to walk to
just get a pressure washer and hit the wall.
Yes, dude. You know how the basements always have the one drain where the floor slopes towards?
Yeah.
I want to be able to just
and
piss.
The floor is never sloped, right?
I just want to be able to piss in my house and be able to hose it down, right? I
position a chair over it strategically.
I want a world where I can physically completely separate myself from and know it's so secure. Even when the feds try to get me, they're not getting in. I want to be...
When the feds come and get you, you can go to your underground
second
bulldozer,
one. Yeah,
and fucking drive it out of the ramp that you installed.
I mean, I would like to travel and do things. I'm not opposed, but I don't feel like that's going to fundamentally change anything.
Mm-hmm.
It might be fun. There might be things that I want to do. I want to visit you this month. We're making plans.
Yeah.
I'm totally open to stuff, but it's the same thing where that doesn't change your life. That doesn't funny podcasts, enjoyment things, doesn't change anything. There's in my ratio, I'm fully happy to admit. I think it often is off at points, but I feel like everyone else's is off in a completely different direction, where I may get lost in my own sauce, my own internal struggle shit, but I feel like most of the world is completely avoidant of anything of substance. Like going to a different city doesn't change.
Going to
me.
a different city, sure. It might expand your horizons of like, oh, there was some new experiences I had there. I feel like living in a new place for, a year or so is you will absolutely experience changes in the way you see the world around you that you carry with you for the rest of your life.
Keep in mind, I probably, at this point, I'm probably outside of my house an hour a week. Do you think a different city changes?
So you driving for more than 30 minutes in any direction will probably yield a similar result.
Yeah, it's a great annoyance when I do. Like
I truly do feel that way, and that's from experience too.
How? I feel like you could place any of us, not any of us. I feel like you could place most people on an alien world, right? A world that hasn't existed, a completely new place, new civilization, whatever. I don't think it changes anything.
It changes the way you approach everything.
It does from external. It
changes the way that you have to approach, okay, now where do I need to go to find food? I need to find my way around here. I need to figure out cultural landmarks, or, like not cultural landmarks. I need to figure out landmarks. I need to figure out, the just a general sense of direction.
I got this. All right.
Okay.
Do you believe in dualism, body and soul in one form? Do you believe there is no soul, or they're unconnected? Where do you land?
I don't really think I have a concrete.
Okay, let me keep pushing.
Belief on that.
I'm gonna rapid fire.
I like different ideas.
Okay, free will. You've kind of, I think in the past you lean a little bit determinist. Like there's not full free will, but you also take responsibility, accountability. You believe there's some free will, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's
yes.
Yeah. I think I'm more lean towards the free will. Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like who we are as people? But we've done the thing. There's a version of you at every year in a room. Let's take the version of Ricky that's 50, just for an example. Do you feel like that version of you was made by you or by circumstance?
I don't think it's 100% one or the other.
Fair. Do you feel like if you took that version of you at 50 that you're not sure if is from you, genetics, look at all that shit, if you put that version of you on another world, do you feel like you would have became the same person?
No.
I think that's fair. I think I tend to agree, right? What happens to us helps make us who we are, right?
Yeah.
But I also feel like there is a true core of our being. And I don't...
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
So let's say that core stays the same. And I don't know what that comes from. I think a large part of it's genetic. A large part of it might just be the pattern of our choices, or just, we're not generating our own thoughts, but the series of thoughts we choose to associate over and over throughout our life. All those factors that are less free willy a lot of the time. They tend, I think those things coming together is like part of our core that some people would call soul, that I don't. But I feel like while the stuff outside of the core that tend to be more superficial, while all of those parts of you might change on every new world, every new potential world you could have been born on, I feel like the core is always going to be the same.
I feel like that's fair, but it's like saying, I don't know, the way I see it in my head is like, if your core is your body and your tattoos are the things that you picked up along, from experience or from creative junction, whatever.
Sure.
Or, interference, whatever. There are things that you would experience that were different that it's not going to make you maybe a different person. You might learn different lessons at different times in your life that ultimately lead to a person, to revealing, cutting away at the shell around the core, revealing that to be itself. But I really, I'm an advocate of the idea of that when you go somewhere new, you find a piece of yourself that you didn't recognize was there. And whether it's just from the experience of how you adapt to a new environment, I feel like that's the biggest one of like what do you do when you're in a new environment? You could, go to a new place and like shelter up and never experience it. But it's like school in the way that you really only get out of it what you put into it, or at least I felt that way with culinary school, especially like tech school kind of shit of like, if you're learning a trade or a skill or something, if you're not applying yourself and trying to learn something, you're not going to. You might pick up a little bit of, shit from the back of the class, but like if you're...
I hate this. I love you. I
don't understand why.
Imagine... I am going to revise a couple of my statements because you did remind me of a couple of things that I probably said that are wrong, but this idea of like the effort you put in affects like the lesson you learned, affects who you be, what you learn. I'm going to ask you to imagine, what if you did that, right? Like your experience in culinary school, your experience in whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you put in max effort, right?
I feel like I did.
Sure. Yeah. Now, imagine you never felt anything from it.
No, then I'd move on. I'd do something different.
What I'm getting at is imagine like you fulfilled those parts of it, like what would be the expectation for that change, and you never felt it. How do you think that would change how you feel about your point?
You're saying if I, after going to culinary school, I came back with nothing?
Not nothing, but nothing that changed anything. Do you know what I mean? Nothing that changed who you felt you were. It felt like a new experience, right? Like there were small things, superficial changes to who you are, but that nothing even scratched the core of who you are, even though you expected or wanted or tried to like change or remold or grow those things, that nothing could touch that.
It's such a foreign concept to me. I think I understand what you're asking, but it's almost impossible for me to imagine that. And it makes me question. I want to ask you this: do you feel that you are closed off to the idea of new experiences? Of taking away from new experiences, of embracing changes within yourself? Are you opposed to the idea of embracing a change within yourself from new experience?
I'm going to give, I'll try to do both quick to not hem up conversation.
You can take your time and
I don't got time. I'm impatient, even with myself. Okay.
Because I really, that is such a, even trying to hypothetically build that scenario in my head, I don't understand how I could, how based on my experiences in life so far, me knowing me and how I learn and have grown myself, I don't understand how I could experience a new thing and not both commit it to memory and grow from it. Yeah, it shaped me in some form.
I understand. Here's what I'll say. I think I'm slightly closed off, some by choice, some by nature, but I will revise my past statements to some extent. I think lots of people do genuinely have that, right? They could be born on that alien planet X, and it does change their core. I think a lot of people have that, but I don't think that is a thing in the sense that it is a given or fundamental. I think some people are maybe more solid core, solid state drive than others.
Yeah.
In the past, more so than now, was very exploratory, always looking for new experience. I'm pretty stubborn, don't like to do that much new, but like this week, I went to a float tank for the first time.
Whoa.
Sarah gave me a gift certificate.
When were you going to bring that up?
I did mean to talk about that because it was interesting. Maybe later. Right? It changed some things, right? Like, but all superficial. I feel like I've had lots of subtle changes. Like last week I've changed a lot. Even since we've started this podcast, my life has changed more in the last 3-4 years, 5 years, whatever, than probably all the years before. I'm not opposed to change or new experience, but I don't feel like anything has ever changed the core of who I am. And I feel like this is what will sound like the closed off part or the like depressive, mentally ill part, but I don't feel like it really is. But I'll say it anyway. I feel like after being close enough to dying or accepting my existence being over enough times, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no life-changing revelation. There's no either good thing, traumatic thing, new place, new love, broken relationship. There's nothing that has ever fundamentally changed me except for things that were early in my life. And I feel like some of those more traumatic things did have a big effect, and maybe is part of the reason I am the way I am. But since all the things that have challenged that have never changed anything, like I intend to keep growing. I intend to keep making what I would think are good, positive changes, but nothing ever since being a kid has changed how I felt about what existence is. And I think that dictates everything. Like if I don't feel like there is no heaven or hell. Every heaven and hell is inside us. there's no God, there's no afterlife. This is it or whatever. And I want to do my best for me. I want to be strong. I want to enjoy things. I want to laugh. I want to clown. But none of it matters. Like there's no place I could go that will change that. There are many ways in which it could change me for good and bad. But I do feel like I know myself really well, and that there's circumstances that change. But the matter of fact of where we are and what this is that we're all participating, even if other people feel like it changed, they changed, it doesn't. This just is. And I feel like I feel really, really strongly about that.
I want to offer, I can understand where I for sure had a different experience of going to a new place than some other people might. I think a lot of the times people, especially, like in your situation where like you work from home, you could probably pick up your job and move up here, but it wouldn't be any different than, for the most part, than you just being in Cincinnati.
It would be really cool. Like I'd enjoy seeing you.
It would only really be different because we could see each other more often, but that's really the core thing. Like you would be, then you're further away from your family and other shit. So like
it would change the circumstance, right?
It shifts your priorities.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I moved up here, I really didn't have a rock solid plan. I didn't have a job lined up. I had sent out a bunch of resumes and job applications. I didn't have shit when I moved up here. I crashed on my cousin's couch for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe. It was longer than I expected to. But a lot of like, I was going to say, I built the world around me of like a new life kind of thing, but it's a lot of it just kind of fell into my lap. A lot of it was like the first place I was looking at. It was the place I was trying to get into, but like they got me an apartment a lot quicker than I thought I would. And I took the first job that I got was based out of a necessity because I needed a proof of income to get the apartment. So I went out, and the first job restaurant I walked into, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're interested." And I was like, "Cool, I'll start tonight." And that was that. And then from that, I met people that I consider, extension of family now, kind of shit. So like that a lot of that fell into my lap a little bit. So I don't want it to sound like I worked super hard to build anything up here, but it's also, I kind of did. I came up here with, no real intention. And I kind of like made a new home for myself. That being said, I do want to offer that it may not change you in the way that like you have a stone sculpture of a man named Stephen, and it's still being worked on. There's still room for, improvements and whatnot to make it the best that it could possibly be.
Absolutely.
And it may not be that you're getting drastic. You're going to find drastic changes, but having new settings, new stimulus around the exterior, not the interior, is going to define the traits that you prioritize. It's going to buff out certain, imperfections and flaws that you don't see as useful anymore. It's going to further evolve, and by that way change who you are. There's definitely things that I've grown stronger in my convictions of that haven't really changed. My opinion on certain things hasn't changed. It's just been strongly, what's the way I want to say that? It's been bolstered by going somewhere new and realizing, okay, this is also still true here. This is not, the effects of my past. This is something I'm finding to be true and I know to be true, kind of thing. There are, like I said, the different things that kind of help. Like when I came up here, I was a shitty, angry Gordon Ramsay ass chef. And within a year or so, I remember the day I had a very hard shift in that. And it was just from, some of the people around me, and we were talking about it a little bit. And I realized I don't get paid enough to get this stressed out at work, first of all, overwork. And then, I realized I don't want to spend I would enjoy myself and have a better time since I have to be here anyways. I would enjoy myself more if I wasn't fucking pissed and yelling at the fucking prep cooks and shit.
Sure.
I don't know. I think it's little stuff that I'm not sure I would have had that revelation at least as soon as I did if I had stayed in Florida. I'm not sure that I would have. It's not to say that I don't think I would have grown at all, but I think it definitely moved it along a little. It accelerated it.
Yeah. I need like 30 seconds to think, and then I want to run something by you.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I keep, not all the time, I try not to typo, like, ongoing thoughts, like, when you're talking, I try to, like, actually listen. Sometimes I'm better at it than other times, but sometimes
dude.
Yeah, it's just the nature. Sometimes I keep a notebook, though, and I try to jot some shit down. All right.
You hear something, and it kind of puts you on a tangent, and then you're
sparked an idea.
Looking other stuff and reading shit, and then you realize, oh fuck, I didn't hear the last couple things that they said.
You're guilty of it with Google. Everyone.
Oh, I'm really bad at it.
I know you are. All right, here's what I'm thinking. You sparked. Oh my god, wet mouth! Holy shit! You sparked some thoughts in me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll preface with saying I do not intend to be dismissive of what your experience, like moving to Detroit, building your own world, how things have changed you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely not my intention. But when I hear someone else, in this case you specifically, someone I care about, say those type of things, right? That, it didn't change everything, but those external things helped you shape yourself more, find parts of yourself. You go to a different place and find a new piece of yourself that fits in the puzzle, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have never really felt that, like, ever. And I feel like,
says the man who's never lived 25 miles away from Price Hill.
I feel like other people, because the experience is different to them, can't truly hear it from me. But when I say, like, all of those things that changed or shifted or, like, grew for you, none of those things would matter to me. In part, I mean, we've been friends far prior to this podcast or whatever, but doing this podcast has been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And in part, so much at this point, so much of the value I place on our relationship is in part because we're making something together.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like, this physical recording when we're done is far more important than how my day went. I don't in one sense, I value how we feel as what is most real to us, but I don't value how I feel that much, and not because I don't care about myself or so humble, whatever. Like fuck all that shit. I just it just genuinely doesn't feel important to me. So I'm going to split myself in 3 versions. I'll see if I'm curious if you'll feel this argument from me anymore. Because I do think when other people are more plastic and not like superficial plastic, but like plasticity plastic, like their core can shape more.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a different experience than more like solid state shit. So like if I split myself in 3, like fucking God, right? Fucking Holy Trinity up in here, okay? We got the Cincinnati 513 junkie trash version, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I decide I'm gonna split off, go to Detroit. I'm gonna be a fancy chef. I'm gonna be the smart, well-educated, fancy pants version of me, right? Because Cincinnati's so dumb and trashy. When you leave Cincinnati, you just like gain 30 IQ points.
Yeah.
That olive branch has
it
been
gets tacked on you as you cross the Dayton line. You just
roll a D20, add to IQ. All right, so I got that so I got the dumb and the cool version in Cincinnati and Detroit, and then I take the third version. This is the Holy Ghost, okay? This is the exotic spotted lemur, Steven, okay? Only found on alien planets. If I take those 3 versions, and let's say being a person in these places is the equivalent of being a sculpture. Literally, we're sculptures, and we have our core, and we live in these environments, and all these external factors help shape us, and the situations in those places command we react to them, and how we react and act helps shape us even more, and our sculpture changes more and more. If at the end of a lifetime we take those 3 versions of me and we go, obviously I'm not going to heaven, so we go straight to hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Satan's down there, and he's just gonna power wash us with fire, right? He's just gonna sandblast us down to our core. I feel like all of those versions of me would be truly the same. That things may have changed. I may have like taken on different shapes or forms to some extent, but none of that would truly have mattered to what I care about in life. And I think that is primarily due to how I see myself and how I see the world. I don't think it's like my experience of life is that unique, but I think it's how I think is part of who I am to that extent, where you could visit me at end of life in any of those worlds, and maybe different jokes, slang, whatever, different house. I could be the junkie me, or the rich person me, or the alien version of me, and even speaking in different languages, I think you would recognize me as me in any of those worlds. And I don't know if I in fact don't think that is true with everyone. I don't think I'm alone in that, but I think I would be who I am in any of those places to the extent that you would still recognize me.
I understand that perspective. Not so much that I feel it, but I understand it. And I think I have an analogy that might help anyone else who doesn't. So if you think of yourself as a Honda Civic, and happy Honda days. If you think of yourself as a Honda Civic, and what you are is the baseline standard model. True, you can have the new experiences, the new things, the different stimuli. It's the new, that's a leather interior versus the fabric. It's the heated seats. It's the fuzzy dice. It's the LED fucking racer lights. It's the Tokyo Drift shit the modifications and the
hollow wrap.
The plus, deluxe package shit, that it doesn't take away from the fact that at the end of the day, you are a Honda Civic. At the end of the day, you're still going to get from point A to point B as a Honda Civic.
I feel like
the other stuff is fun, and some people find more value in it. You don't find the value
at all
in the add-ons and pluses. So because you don't see the same value in them, you see them as you don't see them having value at all.
I see them as a even worse than that. They're a loss. They're the equivalent of the D&D podcast. They are a loss.
They're taking away from the
distraction,
the core element that is the Honda Civic.
Yes,
the greatest vehicle ever.
It's like it's like an overly smelly air freshener. Like when that thing is gone and the car smells worse than it did before, you actually accrued a loss. Like those distractions are actually bad.
But
they
Steven,
take away from
it's better to have loved than lost than never loved at all.
Every air freshener.
every air freshener. I love it for the 60 days that it's allotted, and then and then I grieve, and then I move on, and I buy a new one from the fucking Meyer.
So
Meyer.
I think you might be pointing me in a good direction in the sense a person who doesn't know who they are, I feel like the circumstances, those changes can be benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel I know what the fuck I am. Like I don't.
Now,
I don't know.
Let me offer this, and this is just a thought thing. I think this is a fun idea that you've given me. This is going back to the we are a statue thing. You're no longer a Honda Civic. You're a statue
of a Honda Civic.
Of a Honda Civic. If throughout your life you are, as you quote unquote perfect the person who you are, finding the person who you are and the person you want to be, and the person bringing the inside person out kind of thing. You're finding yourself and building on yourself. You are building on the statue, sure. Or, altering it in maybe small ways, maybe big ways, whatever. You gave me the idea that in the afterlife, there's no one else to judge you. No one judges your soul. No one judges what you did. No one judges all of the other things. You have to judge your statue.
Maybe
Are you happy with your statue? Are you comfortable knowing that this is what you did with your statue?
Are you asking me
I'm not asking you that now. I think that's a fun idea of you have to judge yourself. I mean, and that's
I don't even
more or less. I like that idea as like a general, anyways, of being true to yourself in general. But when you look back at,
I think it's an excellent question. I truly think that is an excellent question, but I don't even think that's necessarily true. I think even that would be almost a supernatural
Well, of course, I don't think that's what happens when we die.
No, I
I'm
get
not.
that.
I'm not proposing that.
But even the idea of that, like, to more than half of the population today, the idea of there not being a direct afterlife that their faith dictates is insanity, right? And even the more less strict, we face ourselves in death. Like, a lot of people, I feel like, could be totally embracive or accepting or whatever of that idea. I think that's like an excellent question to ask ourselves, like, in reflecting of how we lived. But I feel like life is much more trivial than that. Even though I like that question.
I figured I thought you might like that one more because it's equating it's turning your life now into a a more or less literal piece of artwork that needs to be critiqued.
Yeah, I definitely like it.
Would you feel like if you could find yourself embracing that idea more, do you feel like you would, I don't know if I want to say live differently, but like, do you feel like it would cause you to want to affect changes in a different capacity?
No, I've really not. This is where I would probably sound my most arrogant or like stupid. This is why I get very annoyed with what I feel like is people's out of balance ratio on like, I can understand shooting up heroin till you die. Like, I've tried it. I understand it. Okay.
Obviously, you don't understand it well enough, but
I'll give it another shot. Trust me. I don't understand living a less than honest life and listening to comedy podcasts every day. I can't understand that. I can understand seeing what life is and saying, fuck this, I'm out of here, I'm gonna go kill myself, fuck this shit. But I can't understand complacently just doing what you have to do to get through the day forever. Those two things are incompatible. If I have to evaluate my statue at the end of my life, right? There's a lot of ways I'm going to be pretty disappointed. A lot of ways. But overall, I feel pretty good, even if my life's not what I want it to be, even if I haven't like reached my goals. I take a lot of pride in myself. I know how much I don't sleep because I'm trying to do something, even if I'm failing. I know how much effort or like how much will it's taken me to like just be here recording some dumb podcast. Like, I feel very strong about those parts of myself, and that's why it's really frustrating that I feel like other people, whether they are or aren't, I feel like they should be very ashamed of their statues.
That's fair.
I'm disappointed in the world.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, that's fair. I would feel that. I would have guessed that you feel that way anyway. I feel like I knew that anyways. That
it's a great question. Do you feel that way with the world versus yourself?
Yeah. I think for the most part, I hold almost all of my faith into myself because I know what I'm capable. I know what I'm not capable of. Or rather, it's not that I know. I feel like that's limiting when you say I know what I'm capable of, because I feel like there's still boundaries to be pushed.
Sure.
I know I'm comfortable with what I know I'm capable of. Currently, I feel like because I'm willing to admit my faults and the things that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, I feel like that makes me more comfortable in myself. I feel like that makes me more reliable to me. I generally feel I find unreliability in other people. And I think that's partially because I put that in, I judge other people based on what I can do. And it's not that I don't do that. It's like a thing that I'm constantly doing all the time to everybody. But if someone lets me down, like I don't make that mistake again. Like that's just, I'm not giving that an opportunity to ever happen again. I feel like, I mean, we just talked about that. Was that last week we were saying like, I give trust easily, but I take it away just as easily. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like there's fair is fair, and I like to give people a fair shake to begin with, but for the most part, I try not to set my standards too high. I've definitely, I try not to judge based on myself because everyone's different, and I get that. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses and whatnot in general. But the other thing that I try to do is to not be, I'm actively getting better at, is not being as harsh on people for not living up to my expectations. Cause that's all me kind of shit, but that's difficult. It's difficult in trusting other people and doing that when, like you said, it's like I feel like there's a lot of people I encounter that I'm surprised by. They don't have a thing that they're interested in or a thing that they're a goal of any kind. Like, I don't know, fucking anything. I feel like when I meet people like that, it's off-putting.
It hurts.
It really does.
Holy shit!
It's like, what do we even talk about then?
Dude, that's what I feel like since we've started, I've like yelled that so much because it's.
It's like coworkers and employees I've talked to that I'm like, so what do you want to do? Like, you know, it's a younger person or whatever. Like, do you have goals? Do you have like, what do you want to get into? Do you want to keep doing line cooking shit for the rest of your life? And they're like, I don't know.
Big
like,
Bang Theory's on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
Young Sheldon is going to yell bazinga for the 500th time. Oh my God, dude. So here's where it's just all so pointless. Like,
I mean, I feel like that's why the people that I do keep close to me, like, I really do. I try to show appreciation a lot more than I ever used to. I recognize the value in that a lot more today than I did 5 years ago, of like showing the appreciation when people are like solid and like good friends and shit like that. Like that means a lot. You know, when you have someone you can, when you have people that you can have serious conversations with and like have thoughtful back and forth. Like I don't go to therapy, but I trauma dump with my coworkers, you know, and the fact that we can talk about shit like that and still be cool afterward and still, you know, want to hang out afterward is still, you know, that says a lot.
Yeah. So I think the moral of this conversation is once again, serious Trump's silly. We got there. This was all a ruse.
We'll never make a joke ever again.
Not a single haha. All right. I feel like I want to get to one more thing that builds off this. Nothing matters. Why try? Mm-hmm. Drastic changes.
Yeah.
Goals for the year or whatever. Here's something like the core might not change much, but something I feel a certain debt to myself. Like if I want to look at the statue at the end, I feel the need for higher levels of destruction. Scholastic terrorism and potential violence. Okay, here's the real. We need to fight more people. Like,
speak on that.
The serious part is I want to write more. I want to carve out my thought positions more and have some better opinions on some things. And I want to write them. But more than that, like, there are so many people with dog shit views and ideas. And I feel like, not that we're the best or that I'm great at it or anything like that, but I feel like, people have a responsibility to fight bad ideas more. And I want to engage in more of that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't feel that.
I don't feel compelled to do that nearly as much as you do.
I gotta push you on this.
Here's what I say. I don't feel compelled to prioritize that.
Why? Why do you not? I feel like between the two of us, you're the one who even could, what's the right word? Entertain the idea of like politics. Like, I feel like you should have more of a debt to be trying to change the world than me, based on the shapes of our cores.
I think that comes down to, again, it's like we talked about it not that long ago of the.
It's not what you want to do.
It's not what I want to do.
But I feel like you have a bigger debt to yourself to it than me.
Yeah, you feel that way.
I think you do too. I think you.
I don't think I do.
Why?
I think the debt that I have to myself is to live how I want to live. And as comfortably as I want to live and do the things that I want to do. Because dirtball theory. And as much as I feel like there could be changes and differences, there does come a point where, like, I don't think about it or care about it enough to change what I want to do, to sacrifice what I want to do with my time and my life to, grandstand against
How can you call it grandstanding?
To go out in a public platform and focus more of my time and energy on it. That takes away from what I want to do with my time.
Deciding if I want to go down this road or not.
Let me help you make that decision. We are an hour and 50 minutes in.
I'm doing it. All right. We're doing it. I don't truly, part of me, not all, like I take you at your word, but part of me does not believe you fully believe dirtball theory, and my evidence of such is that I see you and Sam as very similar people, which is why I like you both so much. I think you are way more like good-natured, just like caring people. And when you say you don't feel as much need as me, a shit angry person, to change the world or whatever, I don't fully believe you. I think you just don't want to. which I'm not saying is wrong, but I think the answer isn't fully true.
I definitely know that I want to affect more change than you do. You are on record as stating that you don't give a fuck about changing the world.
Kind of, but I want to fight over it. Like, I want to fight over it. I just don't necessarily think it's... I don't think my efforts are going to matter, but I feel like I have to. And I feel like you don't think you have to. And most of the people I care about...
I feel like I don't have to more than I do.
I can't understand that.
I feel like if given opportunities to help causes and do things, I'm open to doing so. I'm not the one that's going out and starting a cause, starting a petition.
Near mine, but I feel like we should. One of my like, not necessarily goals, but something I hope for mostly myself, but I also think it would be good for us is like when we do like hard bends episodes or like I know we're going to, but I'm really excited for covering the Republican debates because it's such clown world insanity bullshit. I feel like that's the type of shit, not that it's like crazy meaningful or anything, but I feel like that type of like, in my opinion, that's destructive behavior. Like, we're trying to tear down something. We're like using emotions and anger, like not just by itself, but like trying to attack something in what I think is a good way. I feel like that should be, I want to be increasingly motivating. And I
that's fair. I see that perspective, yeah.
But I wish people that I see as like really good natured, such as yourself, that probably want the world to change in ways maybe I don't necessarily believe it can or whatever, but I feel like I want more good natured people to feel pushed towards that more.
I agree with that.
So I'm saying, let's get angry, let's get violent, and let's fuck some shit up.
Let's bully some Republicans.
Absolutely, dude. They're so fucking stupid, dude. They should be lit on fire by Nero. Fed to the fucking lines, thrown in fucking, whatever, acid. Let them, their bones melt. Who gives a shit? If we could just blank out all the religious people. My God!
If you hadn't crossed the line where you could eventually run for run for a president one day.
Oh, I'm still going.
I think you probably could. You probably could get away with running on the Republican Party if you went hard enough. There's a lot of fucking wild shit going on. So you could probably
right now. Dude, it sucks because I fucking hate Democrats too. They're so
that is the worst. That's the worst part.
Cowards.
Is like it's just so much easier, and it's like it's almost feels like low hanging fruit to bag on Republicans, but also like they're
because that's all that matters.
They're so way out of line. It's like
it doesn't matter. All that matters is fuck Republicans. That is politics of 2024. Is fuck Republicans. It doesn't matter. You could be. I gotta stop myself. I say some crazy shit. All that matters is fuck those people. Fuck religious people. It's just so bad. That's all that matters. Like it's lesser of evils, and fuck these people. And I want to be motivated by anger more and more. I want to be Darth Vader. Embrace your hatred. Use the Force.
Try to think of which.
Throw their corpses in lava.
Which was the I'm thinking, it's Hindu. They have the it's not really, they don't really have like devils or like demons or whatever. It's they have the their holy trinity more or less is like the creator and the destroyer and like a balance. Like it's not they all need each other kind of thing. You want to be the destroyer.
Absolutely, dude. Holy shit. Like in those particular realms.
If everyone else is creating shit, you're going to be the one to stomp on it.
Destroying statues, man. There's just it's interesting. That's the Hindu. I'm sure we've touched this ground before, but that's very similar to the Nietzsche create, destroy, overcome. But overcome for balance. Yeah, I don't know. We need more of that. There's a lot of people that do the like, oh, I'm unbiased, the unbiased reporting, the unbiased whatever. Like, we need that for sure, but we also need people that are straight up biased and not trying to hide it. Like, you can't be opaque and be biased. You have to be fully transparent.
Biased with good opinions, with not bad opinions.
Yes.
With not trash, wrong opinions.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I think a more aggressive approach. Not all the time. I still want to goof. Still want to clown a little bit.
You're into clowning as long as you're knocking someone else down a peg.
Absolutely.
You're on the clowning on other people.
We can have like
on other people and things.
3 good jokes an episode unless we're bullying, and then it's like 6, you know?
We'll have to build an Excel sheet with a counter.
Yeah. Dude, this is the last episode of 2023. How deep into this? We're 150 something episodes, like 3.5 years going into 2024. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Man, it's pretty crazy.
Pretty fucking solid math if you want to do that. If it's only 52 days in a year, we haven't missed that many fucking episodes, and it's only been in the last month or so.
Yeah, I think YouTube is the right decision. It
was out of choice, I guess, rather than just fuck ups.
It's gonna be kind of weird. I think it was really smart. We're still gonna sesh every week, so it doesn't like. I feel like losing that would fuck us up. But
yeah, it fucks up the throw.
Yeah.
Flow of it.
Yeah, I think we'll be good. I think long term, the YouTube will make the difference, and I think having an extra week to both prep and edit will be really, if not improve the content, at least improve quality of life.
Yeah, and what it really does, for our thriving audience, it creates suspense. It helps build their, it helps, it reduces the expectations a little bit, we got to bring them back down to earth.
Absolutely.
But also, they look forward to the next episode more, really it's the distance makes the heart grow fonder.
They'll miss my violent rhetoric and your benevolent olive branching.
And your deceitful olive branching. Let me offer this piece so I can tear it away.
Pocket sand. Pocket sand. This is fun, dude. Goodbye, 2023. Hello, 2024.
2023, you fucking sucked, and we'll...
Dirty little bitch. 2023.
Fucking
you
die
sick,
in a hole.
Diseased leper of a year. Holy shit.
We will forget you, and time will march on.
Time sure will. With or without us, that's for sure.
With that being said, thanks again for listening, everybody.
Thank you. Why you did, you stupid piece of shit.
Jesus, Steven, calm down.
It's the end of the year. I'm coming out hot.
Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thanks, John. Love it.
I was really hoping you were going to follow that with a fuck you, John.
Yeah, fuck you, John. See you next year, motherfucker.
Make sure to check out the show page at Trashcat's Trashcast on Instagram for news and art from the show. Check out Facebook for the memes.
If you're super, you can check out my trash yard on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZSEX. We'll see what the fuck next year brings. No idea. Weird place, but still trying. That's all that matters.
Now, would this be a good place to plug that we probably already have some episodes up on YouTube? go hit that.
Let's
hit
hold up.
Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Hit the bell so you get the notifications. Comment.
Go ring your bell and bash your gourd in on her.
Fucking post. Smash your keyboard in the comment section so we get some engagement.
Kill yourself while leaving a YouTube comment on our channel.
Put that shit up there so we can we get a little bit more engagement. Gets pushed into the algorithm a little bit.
Pixar didn't happen.
Damn right. That's going to be all for us today. Stay classy, eat trashy.
Go fast, eat trash. That was far too much goofing. We were way over the limit.
Steven's uncomfortable. He's not happy with the goofing.
Frankly, I'm concerned.